Hello everyone, Johnny Minder here, and today we're continuing to learn Japanese with Super Mario Advance 4, so Super Mario Bros. 3, the Game Boy Advance version. Last time we completed World 1, and so today we are starting World 2. And so without further ado, we can start the game. Okay. As usual, we skip the intro. Of course, Super Mario Bros. 3 is mentioned. And yeah, we're in World 2 at the start. Warudo, most likely ni, since it's the Chinese reading is the one used usually when the number is alone, so ni in this case. And we have played 8 levels, and that's the 8 most likely, based also on what we've seen last time. And so yes, we can start it. As usual, you play as Mario and Luigi. And yeah, we are in World 2. We can see here there's the locked door. And so we start with, of course, stage 1. And of course, immediately I get hit by those enemies. Yeah, you have to be careful around blocks, even though you can spot them because they don't glow, as you can see. But yeah, of course. Okay, we get a star, nice. Especially to get rid of those enemies. Oops. Let's try. Well, going here wasn't the best. We try to go back, but here, because I wanted to get these. Yep, it's 1 up. Okay, let's go back up and to the right this time. We check this out. Oh. Okay, nice that the enemy fell. So we can get our coins. And we're actually at the end of the stage. We'll try to get the best card, and we got it. Wouldn't be surprised if again we got panel in paneru in Japanese. Don't remember if it's the same. Okay. We immediately get this because we were forced to access it immediately since we switched to Luigi. And so we get a new message, so we'll check it out. Kururin kururin kado o mekutte iroiro ataru. First and foremost, we have kururin twice. Which is let's say an onomatopoeia. Clearly from well, technically it's not an onomatopoeia, even though of course, it's related to kuru kuru, which we have seen before, which is the whirling, revolving, spinning, going round and round. But this one technically is kururi, and then there's this additional at the end. Kururi, as you might guess, from the E at the end. Of course, if we remove the N, well, technically, as I can see also here, while I was checking the accent, it's an adverb. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it came from a verb, but let's ignore that for now. Kururi, unfortunately can't find the accent here. I'll check the physical dictionary. Okay, got the physical dictionary. But yes, the meaning just either way, and that's why also I'm saying it's most likely related to kuru kuru. Kururi is in its first and foremost meaning is turning around once, technically. And so yeah, it's actually an onomatopoeic or mimetic word. Let's see if I can find its accent in the physical dictionary. Well, as a reminder, kuru kuru is accented as most actual onomatopoeias on the first syllable, kuru kuru. Okay, while kururi, which should be this one, and by the way, this is an adverb that takes the top article. We've seen other ones, funny enough, one also on screen, but we'll see. I'll mention it in a second. Okay, the here it says two accents, either on the ru or on the ri. Kururi or kururi. But yes, it has also other meanings, but in our case it's turning around. Turning around. Then of course we have kado, card from English. I think we have seen it before, but we'll check its accent anyway, just to be sure. And yes, lucky accented on the ka as expected. Kado. Card in various meanings. In our case, a playing card, as we'll soon see. Then we have the object particle o, written as wo, and also pronounced as such in careful speech and singing. Then we have the verb mekutte, from mekuru. We check its accent, but it's the verb which means to turn over, and of course turn over, to turn, for example, also pages, of a book turn over, in our case, cards. Let's check its accent. Mekuru. Okay, unaccented. So Mekuru. Then we have to change it into its te form. It's a U verb code and verb, so we have to follow the rules. It's in rules, so double consonant te. We make the te form here with one of the usual meanings. Could be up to this point of the sentence and, or as we've also seen before, by doing. Honestly, could most likely the second one, in this case, by turning over the cards. Then we have iroiro, and this is the word which we have seen as an adverb takes the top article. Iroiro, technically from, as I mentioned before in previous series, I think, from iro, accented on the last syllable, color, and then repeated, so iroiro, iroiro unaccented, the way, so literally color and color, but its meaning becomes various, a variety of, all sorts of, many different, so most likely of various colors originally, and then it became various, many different in general. Of course, then as an adverb, variously in many ways. Here, by the way, we'll see, could be technically an adverb without the to in this case, simply because it's to abbreviate, or technically also a noun, of course in that case without the object particle, but say well, we'll soon see when we translate which one is better. And then last but not least we have the verb ataru. I think unaccented, but we'll check, which its fundamental meaning is to be hit, to strike. It's the intransitive verb. The transitive one is ateru. That one I think we've seen before. Again, we have the intransitive in aru, the transitive in eru, and so most likely the one in aru is actually an older form of a classical form of the passive, and of course because of that then it became the intransitive form of the verb. But in our case, the meaning is an extended one, which is to, well, as the dictionary says, to be right on the money, in the sense of guessing right something of a prediction, also criticism and so on. Can also be used to win in a lottery, for example. Because of the fundamental meaning, in this case, to be hit in general, and so hit as in a correct guess or a win in a lottery. And so yeah, the meaning here, I'd say, is guess we can adapt it in English to make various guesses, literally guess right in various many ways by, and so yeah, I'd say by is the better term, by turning the cards one by one. One by one, we have the sound of the kururin. And then we have the other part, Otetsuki wa Ikkai dake. First and foremost, we have Otetsuki. Which I think we have actually seen before. First and foremost, we have, well, it's technically a compound between two nouns. But first and foremost, of course, we have, as usual, our honorific prefix o. Then we have te, on its own accented, hand, if we then studied its kanji. Then we have tsuki, in this case most certainly the one for from the verb tsuku, the usual verb which means to be attached, to be connected with, to adhere, to stick. Several other extended meanings. Fundamental one, to be attached, to adhere, to be attached, the best one. So we have hand. Well, of course, then we can. It's a u verb colon verb, so we can change the u into i to make the continuative form, and so the corresponding noun in this case, tsuki on its own can be used as a suffix, which means including, attached to, and other meaning, but including because, of course, from attached to, included. And so we have te tsuki, hand and be attached to, which on its own means it's a manner of using one's hands. Manner implied in which one, quote unquote, attaches one's hands. But with this honorific prefix, the meaning usually is touching a wrong card in Karuta. And so also in our case. But I think we have seen it before because of the meaning passing too early in a quiz. And I think we saw it in our previous series, by extension of course. But yes, in this case, literally touching a wrong card. So, touching the... then we have, of course, the topic particle wa written as ha. As for touching a wrong card, so making a mistake, ikai is a numeral and counter combination. Technically there are more than one, but in this case it's definitely kai is the one for the counter for occurrences. And then we have the number, which is I. In this case, ichi would be kai, of course, is of Chinese origin, so we have Chinese numerals. In our case, ichi 1, here modified in I, then small 2, and so the doubling of the following consonant because of a contraction. And it's how it's of course also because potentially not only ichi also had the reading itsu, but most likely the I or U fell, and so it kai, of course difficult to pronounce, and so double consonant instead. And so yeah, we have one time, so once. And last but not least, we have the particle dake, which means only. And so the meaning is as for touching the wrong card, so making a mistake, it's implied only once. And so yes, we have our rules of this mini game, so we can play it. Yeah, we have these cards. We'll try to for example this one. You know, we got unfortunately star and a mushroom. Oh boy, unfortunately neither of those, so we simply have to guess. Nope. And so unfortunately we failed it, but oh well. Okay, now we can continue. Well, first and foremost, I'd say we can play this other minigame. This one we have already seen, and so read the dialogue. It's the picture matching, as also can be seen by the Eawase. I think actually, I quickly checked the accent. It was and I think we saw it on the physical dictionary. I quickly check it just as a reminder. Yeah, no, it wasn't on the in the digital one, the dictionary online, or better, the plugin combined with that. Yeah, as I remember correctly, on the app. And so yes, we have to stop at the right time. We try doing so. Okay, wait to... Nope. As I mentioned, I'm not good at it. Oh well. So finally we can play stage 2 as Luigi. Okay. And finally we get the leaf for Luigi this time. Not always Mario. Yeah, if you don't follow the platform, you'd have to go in the water, and of course it would be much slower and more difficult. And so we get... of course I got something that isn't a star again. Oh well. Okay, with that we can now play... we play as Mario and we can do the fortress. So we'll do that. We have some dry bones and a swamp. Also a boo. Yeah, especially the boo can be quite annoying. But I think it didn't follow us. Okay, of course then we have this other boo. Okay, we got our leaf. I run now. Perfect. Okay, we have to be careful around these spikes. Of course, as soon as I say it, because I got distracted and I wasn't ready. Oh boy. Okay, we technically have also that. Don't remember what. Nope, nothing. This doesn't seem so. Yeah, we have Boom Boom again. As we see our usual mini boss in fortresses. But of course, his behavior changes. Becomes more aggressive or other things, as we soon see. See, soon enough. And yeah, by finishing the fortress, we've unlocked that locked door. And we can save, so we'll do that. We can, as you can see, there's the castle. There's this blocking the way there, but we'll take the pipe just for a second to show where it leads. Yeah, it leads down here, so this is the shortcut. But also to get an item here. A classic Toad house, and so we have the same message. Let's pick one. Let's go for the right one. Nah. Okay, fire flower, nice. Even though we had already had one, we might give one to Mario. Okay, so we can continue. We can go down there. Let's actually tackle the Boomerang Bros immediately, as you have seen also on the map. It had a boomerang. And we get this item. This music box. Okay, I think Luigi actually has it. So unfortunately, it would have been better if I went to the Toad house with Mario, but oh well. But yeah, the music box, if I recall correctly, puts the enemies on the map to sleep. But yeah, we don't need it. let's start stage 3. Okay. Yeah, doing this just as small Mario isn't the best. Like to get this shell. Of course, I then let it go away. I wanted to use it to get some blocks. I will try doing it with this one. Okay, no. I'd like to get some of those to potentially finally get a power up for Mario. Okay, let's try doing it. Well, this wasn't the best one because I don't think you can throw the shell upwards in this game, unlike the next Mario game. So let's actually try to go quickly back to one of these. And of course, by doing that, I actually got defeated. So it actually switches to Luigi. So honestly, it's for the best, so we can, as he still has the power up. Well, of course, I immediately lose it then, but yeah, as expected, one of those had a power up. Let's see the other ones. Okay, perfect, a star. Another leaf, which we don't need. Okay, let's try not to lose. Well, of course, I immediately say it and then lose it to a different enemy. Let's be careful about those. Here we can definitely make the shell start. Well, of course, this way isn't advised. So I'm curious to see if there are any secrets around here. Actually, I don't think so, fortunately. And of course, then I trap myself, but oh well. So we go back to Mario. This time, let's not waste time. Well, at least we managed to check those blocks. I'd like to get at least this one if possible. Thank you. Nope. Yeah, you have to be careful around Koopa shells because they of course then go back to being Koopas. Yeah, we'll simply ignore that. Let's simply proceed. Of course, now we have to be careful since we are small.
Mamma mia!
Was doing well, but then jumped into. But this one could and should have been avoided, but funny enough, I think, okay, yeah, we get back there, so we'll actually challenge these Boomerang Bros first. Unfortunately, by doing that, well, we'll get this item, which is quite useful, as we'll see soon enough. But yeah, unfortunately, it means that Luigi can't play this stage now. We'll let Mario do it. But hopefully we can finish it this time. Let's Let's be careful, but not too much. Perfect, okay. This is perfect. And then, of course, the one below gets me. Yeah, I actually used to make our life easier a fire flower here, since Luigi has several. Even though more than the 5 flower, I'd like to get the leaf again. Yes, perfect. Here was the star, we'll get it, of course. We can actually fly like that, so we can get back to where we were before all that nonsense. Yeah, here we have to start the shell to unlock the pipe there. Don't remember if we can get something here. Okay, simply yeah, and then there's the shell there, but we won't risk it. Okay, so we can finally finish the level, the course. We got a different panel, so not a lot of just one up for Luigi. Okay, let's do this level as Mario. We have the angry sun there. Oh boy, barely. That was quite risky. Yeah, we get this tornado. You have to jump. And yeah, you have to be careful. So there's the angry sun trying to get us, in addition to the enemies, and of course he got us. Yeah, this is a level where you really want to a power up, even more than the previous one. Too bad we missed that, since we could have okay, perfect there. And then of course right at the end yeah, the good news is that Mario has one more shot at it. Yeah, as we don't have items, we only have that, but that's quite a rare item, and we'll keep it for a better moment. Of course, then we jump right into the paratroopa. So Luigi it is. Let's see, we could use an item here. We'll actually use the star. As honestly, the worst part is actually after, but try to make do. But of course, then the angry sun gets us. Let's see with Mario. Well, that was a bad idea on my part. Simple as that. So yeah, we'll actually use the item here, and hopefully keep at least, as this is actually quite useful for also these plants. So we can hopefully keep at least big Luigi, because I have to jump there. But yeah, after that we definitely want to visit the Toad House as Mario to get a power up for him. yeah, you have to be careful, because if you wait too much, then the angry sun can get you there. Well, he got us like that, but oh boy. That was risky, but we did it. Yeah, we got only one up. But yeah, we'll visit the third house as Mario. And yes, as usual, the usual message. Let's try the left one. Okay, see, funny enough, again a fire flower, but we'll get it. We'll take it. Okay, let's do stage 4. Okay. I think we want to get not like this, like this effect, but of course being a mushroom is more difficult to get then, but at least we know for later. Yeah, doing that without any power-ups against Boomerang Bros isn't as easy. Okay, we have to remember to then... I want to then get back there as Luigi. As you might have noticed, there's a block that can be destroyed in the top left corner, but of course we can't get it this way.
Oh, Mamma mia!
Actually, jumped into the pit on my own there. Oh well. Yeah, despite
Oh, mamma mia!
my questionable plays here, we should be able to finish this world, well, complete it today, hopefully. So of course after this there's also the letter, so we'll see. Okay, let's get the mushroom this time, perfect. I actually want... no, too bad, but we got the Boomerang Bros, which is what we wanted. Of course there's another one, so we have to be careful. Let's get the leaf. Let's wait here to avoid the plant. Have another Boomerang Bros, but we'll ignore him. Oh boy, then we have that one. I wanted to get it all, so we missed the power up, which honestly is what would matter the most, but at least we got the panel. Okay. Okay, we want to go there then as Luigi. Let's actually share some lives. We'll keep more on Luigi. We play stage 5 as Mario. Okay, we have a chain jump there. Quite risky with small Mario. Those blocks are enticing, since most likely at least one of them contains a power up, but of course we are not risking it. Okay, we can actually get a mushroom there, but of course then it's difficult to get because of that, and of course then we miss it that way, but oh well. Good to know that it's there at least. In case we we lose and have to come back here. Okay, let's try doing it this way. Okay, we get a vine, which leads up here. Okay, nice. Don't remember what... okay, it's a bonus...
That's what I needed.
but I think you... Ah yes, the P-switch is up there, but unfortunately I can't get to it now. Well, but at least we got to see what was there. Okay, we get a leaf, perfect. Yeah, exactly, just what I needed indeed. We want to try to get our panel. Perfect, we got a star. As we need the lives, as we have seen. Okay, as Luigi now, I should be able to go here and use the hammer to destroy these. And so we actually get some secrets. First and foremost, Toad House. We open this one. Okay, a frog suit. We could technically use it to show that. Or we could keep it, of course, for the next world. We'll see. And all. Okay, here we have about the 5 bros.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, doing that wasn't the best idea. Okay, we actually have that minigame again. I wonder if we will stay... Well, let's not risk it, assuming we actually do it. We've seen the message at the start of this episode, so we don't need it anymore. Okay, a 1-up, a fire flower, 20 coins. Nope. That one is quite difficult. Okay, but with Mario we can definitely defeat these two. And better if I do something like that. And perfect. And with that we get a fruit, which is used to warp to other worlds. But we won't use them. We want to play all the worlds and all the levels, or at least we'll try to do that. At the very least, all the worlds. So yeah, we're not using that, but it was still nice to get it, to show it. Okay, we'll do this minigame. E hours again, so picture matching. See. Too late, yeah, too late. All different, perfect. Okay, let's... nope, not this. We won't use anything now, for now. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that here there shouldn't be anything else. Yeah, no. So we simply tackle this, try this stage, even though I doubt it, as Small Luigi, the pyramid, as that's the final one before the castle, and so actually the airship, as we've seen the previous world. Okay, we got that. We have to be careful about these puzzle beetles. Oops. Yeah. Let's continue here. Yeah, you have to use them to open these locks, unless, of course, you have a tail.
Oh, mamma mia.
Yeah, there it's a slope, and I'm pretty sure that you can slide down. We'll try it if we get there again as Mario. But yeah. Now we also have a tail, unless we immediately lose it. And so with that, it becomes much easier to open the blocks. Let's ignore that. Let's use it here. I would like to go in the middle again. And then up. I'd like to go back up here. There's also that pipe, but yeah, we technically have to fly there, I think. Easier said than done, especially with this puzzle beetle, but we'll try it once we get rid of it. Yes, perfect. So we can get into the pipe. Oops. Wow, amazing. So we lost. But we'll try to get back there. It's up here. Ah, okay, there's actually an invisible block. Forgot about that. Yeah, we get this. So yeah, we get actually a P-switch. So we want to open it like here to get the most. Well, I should have got more coins there, of course. Oh well. I really getting the most coins while leaving enough to get up, of course. Oh well. But yeah, as we have seen before by mistake, we get there then. We have to be careful also about these puzzle beetles on the ceiling. And also like that. But I'm pretty sure this is actually the end of the... Oh boy, there's a Boomerang Bros. Let's ignore him. But of course then we can't get... Okay, we got rid of the Boomerang Bros. And we'll try to get our star. Unfortunately we got a mushroom. Oh well. So only one up. Okay. I'd say that while it would be nice to keep the frog suit for later, I'll use it now, and of course to keep it because we need to keep it up to the end. We'll see why. I won't hesitate to use a rewind in such a case. But we'll do that after our usual break, around 5 minutes, and when we are back, when we'll be back, we'll do the castle, and so actually the airship of World 2, and complete it. And then of course we get also the dialogue and so on. So most I wouldn't be surprised if we finished this episode with that, but we'll see, of course. Okay, see you in around 5 minutes. And we are back. And so we can now tackle the castle, and so actually the airship. And as I mentioned, we'll do that with the frog suit, as we definitely want to do that sooner rather than later, but they become even more difficult. As we can see, the king has been turned into that enemy this time. But yeah, the dialogue is the same as last time, so we won't check it again. And so we can start the airship. And yeah, as mentioned, since I have to keep to finish this airship with the frog suit, I won't hesitate to rewind if necessary. But like that, I thought you could duck with it, but nope. But yeah, there's a reason why we're doing this with the frog suit, not just because for the sake of it. I think there are some that actually tried and managed to finish the game or do with just the frog suit, of course, as soon as you get it, stuff like that. But not. We're only doing it once for a certain reason, which we'll see soon enough. Okay, we have Morton. Perfect. And perfect. So apart from, funny enough, apart from the start, it went quite smoothly, despite the frog suit. Course clear, of course, as usual. And yeah, with that, we fall down and go back to the castle. We see the king and its original form. I actually take it. I don't remember if last time. Yeah, good thing I did. We technically don't need to take a screenshot of the letter, but we'll do and we'll check it. Well, this one we can actually check in-game, but first and foremost, we have the dialogue. And this is the reason why we... funny that we got the Toad jumping and with his mouth open. But yes, this is the reason why we played the airship as Frog Luigi in our case. Because you get a different dialogue by doing so compared to regular power-ups. And it's also a pretty funny one. Both on its own and for another reason, as we'll see soon enough. But first, let's start by translating it. Are are sonna sugata ni kerarete shimatte. Then the suspension dots. So we'll stop here. First and foremost, we have are are. An alternative form of the expression, you might have heard it before, ara ara. We'll check if we can find the accent. Nope. Okay, I actually found the accent of are are and not of ara ara. I check also in the physical dictionary. The accent for are are, which is our case, is the accent is on the first syllable, on the first are are. We check for are, but yes, the meaning doesn't change in either form. Let's see. Ara. Only found it as a single ara, and it can be either on the first syllable or on the second one. We simply guess that it's the same as are, and so on the first syllable. But yes, are or ara is an exclamation, an expression of mild surprise, incredulity, also annoyance. Here it's, I'd say, mild surprise or incredulity. The translation is given by the dictionary are tusk, so oh, huh, what's that? In our case, I'd say it could be either oh or huh, or also what's that, but not the tusk, so then we have sonna. We've seen it before. Is the contracted is of course again part of the Koso-Ado series. The distance is close to both the speaker and the listener, so far from the speaker, close to the listener. And so here we can actually see that usage with the actual distance instead of we've often seen it as a generic one when not speaking about things actually there, the so ones, but here is actually the correct distance when things are or people are there. A far from both, do the interrogative. As a reminder again, Koso a unaccented, do accented on the first syllable. Sonna is a contraction of sonoyona. And so sonoyo, that kind, sort, and then it's of course an adjective, so we have to add the na to put it before a noun, and then it gets contracted and becomes sonna, which keeps the meanings, that sort of, that kind of, like that, such. So yeah, we have that sort, that kind of, and then we have the noun, which is sugata, again. We've seen it last time. It means figure, form, shape. Most likely, even though now it's written with a single kanji, it's a compound, but we mentioned it before last time. So sugata, figure, form, shape. So also by extension, appearance, dress, also state, condition. Yeah, the fundamental meaning is figure, form, shape. Then we have the particle ni, to, or better in this case, into. because of the following verb. Kairare te, shimatte, but it's up kairare te from kairu. As we've mentioned before, there are several kairu. This one is most likely the one, well, most certainly, the one, the unaccented one, kairu, which means to change, to alter, to transform, to turn into. But then we have to make, it's a verb, each done verb, verb, each done verb, kaeru. So we can change the u into a, and then add re-ru. Here we can see the ru because of further conjugation, to make the passive be changed into, be transformed into. And then we can, it's the passive form is also a ru verb, each done verb, so we can simply drop the ru to add the te to make the te form. Here required by the auxiliary verb shimatte, shimau, also on its own, we've seen that it means to finish. And so yes, also as a, by the way, also unaccented. So yes, also as an auxiliary verb after the form of a verb, it means to finish. As in to do completely. But also to end up, as in to do accidentally, to do without meaning to happen to do. And yes, this is our case. And then here we then it's shimau is a verb codan verb, so we to change it into its te form, we have to follow the rules in u, so it becomes double consonant te, because of course, as mentioned before, it was originally fu, pu, and so that p, because of the most likely the vowel fell, difficult to pronounce, and so double consonant te. Shimatte, of course, difficult, so shimatte. Here we have a te form. I'd say simply because technically the sentence could have continued, but it's then cut short, as shown by the suspension dots. And so the translation so far is her or oo, you implied, ended up being transformed into such a figure, form, shape, such a shape, literally a shape, figure, and so on, of that kind, of such a kind, of that kind, of that sort. And then we can continue. この杖でも、この杖で元の姿に戻して差し上げようか。First and foremost, we have another kono, another word of the koso ado series. Here we have the first and foremost the distance close to the speaker. as we have seen, the other distances are all far from the speaker, and so we have to use these to make these. By adding no, we make the adjective. And so then we have a following noun. So these, tsue, we have seen it in the dialogue. We skipped this time at the start of the castle. So it's actually accented on the first syllable, so tsue. Cane, as in walking stick, but of course also then also staff, a wand. And yes, it's the implied here magic wand that the king has, well, now has, because we got it back from the Koopaling, from Morton in this case. Then we have the particle de, with, as in the means, with this wand. Then we have moto. We technically have seen a kanji that has that reading, but usually a different one is used. Moto, accented on the first syllable, means origin, source, beginning. Also, their meanings depending on the kanji you use, but this one, let's say it's this one. And so, when we add then the possessive particle no, it becomes of the origin, of the source, of the beginning. And so we can say that it becomes kind of like the adjective original. Then we have the following noun modified by it, again sugata, so, and that's why original form ni, again to, into, and then we have the verb modoste sashiageyoka. First and foremost, we have the base verb modoste from modosu. We have seen both the it and its intransitive form modoru. This one is the transitive one. To return here transitive, and so to turn back into your implied original form. Then we have to make the te form. So it's a verb code and verb. We have to follow the rules. Being in su, it becomes simply si te modoste. The form required by the auxiliary verb, which in our case is sashiageyo. From sashiageru, technically it's a compound verb from sasu, we check also its accent. It has several meanings. In this case, sasu, by the way, is accented on the is accented. In this case, because I have to find it out on my own, because usually it's seen globally as a verb, this compound. It's not divided, but my guess is that it could be because of the, well, most likely because of the meaning to put up, to raise, also to hold up an umbrella. I think we've actually seen it in Kirby's Adventure, by the way. But yes, I'd say this is the meaning in this case. Because then we have, well, of course, it's a U verb, coda verb, so we can change the U into I to make the continuative form, to then attach the second verb, part of the compound, which is ageru. We've seen it before, means again, to raise, to elevate, but by extension, to give. My guess again is that it not only figuratively, you rise something up, you inferior towards a superior, you rise up, you elevate something you give to them. Not only figuratively, but I wouldn't be surprised if originally there was also a physical, well, the superior person was actually up higher, in a higher physically. But yes, it so from the meaning to raise, to elevate, it becomes to give. We see to raise and to raise, both verbs. And so yes, sashiageru, which luckily is an accent just like ageru, so sashiageru. It means literally to lift up, to hold up, to raise, both meaning with the meaning to raise. And so it's further strengthened the meaning, or also specified. But yes, by extension, we have the meaning to give, to present, to offer. And in this case, it's a humble form. So funny enough, despite being the king, in this case, the king is using a humble form towards our character, Luigi, because he's, well, first and foremost, he's his savior, but could also be seen as a how do you say it? As a kyaku in Japanese, kyaku-san. Well, in shops, a customer, a client. In this case, of course, as in a guest, a visitor. And here we can see the peculiarity of honorific forms in Japanese. I'll quickly introduce it here, but we'll of course see it further again in the future. The concepts of uchi, soto. Uchi, I'll also check their accents, but they should be both unaccented. Means inside, within. Also then used by extension as in while, during, within, for example, a day. But here, in the sense of inside. Soto means outside. Okay, sorry. Uchi, unaccented. Soto, accented on the first syllable. And so yes, outside, exterior. And yeah, in Japanese, there's this contrast between who is in a specific situation in the uchi and who is in the soto. And depending on who is in which group, then you use the honorific forms in a different way, despite so it depends on the situation, not just the status, because of course otherwise in this case you'd expect the king to use a regular form or even better, certainly not a humble form. But yes, since technically the uchi, the king is in the uchi, Luigi is in the soto, because again he's a guest, a visitor, and even more so because he's his savior. The king uses a humble form to give, but of course here is in the te form of the verb plus sashiageru. So to give in the sense of to make the favor of doing the action of the main verb, as we have seen again and again with kudasai, for example. The imperative polite is actually yet again a form of giving, or better, a form of te plus form of giving, and so making the favor of. Then in this case we sashigeru, just like ageru, is a ru verb, ichidan verb, so we can drop the ru to add yo u, so long yo, to make the volitional form. But in this case, we have seen the volitional form with two meanings. The most common one, let's. The other one, I will, in its original meaning, so to show what a person is willing to do. But here we have then a ka, which is the final sentence particle for an interrogative sentence, to make the sentence interrogative. And we also have, of course, the question mark, even not strictly required in Japanese, but it can still be used. Ka on its own would be enough. And so, more than this volitional form with the ka, with the in the interrogative, in an interrogative sentence, becomes shall I, as in the king is offering to make the favor of turning back you, of course, is talking to Luigi here, into your implied original form with this wand. And there you have the translation. But yes, as I said before, it's not only it's funny because, of course, the king here thinks that Luigi is also cursed because he has the frog suit. And not only, of course, it's technically an animal, but even more so is technically not a good power-up. It's the worst power-up that you can have on land. And so it's funny because of that, but also because, as I'll quickly show you, and this is also one of the reasons why I wanted to play this version. Let's see this one. Okay, this one. And now I'll open the... Okay, you should see the browser. We have the dialogue, serifu, unaccented, spoken line in a play, film, comic, one's lines, comment, remark, phrase, words. After clearing an airship, as says the rest of the title. And this is the Famicom, the original version. And according to this site, and I don't remember if in English it was kept this way or not. I think it could have been, but I'm currently forgetting. There was a mistake because it says kono fue de, fue as in unaccented, flute with this flute. But of course, the king doesn't have a flute, he has the wand. The flute, as we have seen, they got confused because, of course, well, they're almost identical, apart from the initial consonant, but also because the flute is an actual item in the game, as we have seen. Funny enough, the mistake seemingly has been kept in the Super Famicom version, so the All Stars version. Again, fue, kono fue de. But yes, as we have seen in game, and we can see also here, kono tsue de moto no, and so on. So in the Game Boy Advance version, so Super Mario Advance 4, the one we are playing. And so yeah, I wanted to show you. This is also the reason why we are playing this version, because it has the correct word. And yes, now we have seen that. We can go back. Well, we have now, of course, the letter, Princess Peach's letter. You could technically check it here, and we'll actually do so, just again, so we don't accidentally press buttons and go forward before it's time. And so we have these to check. So let's start again. Quite long. First and foremost, again, ogenki desu ka? How are you? Literally in Japanese, are you well? Because we have ogenki. Or the honorific prefix. And in this case, as I mentioned also, the honorific prefix can also be used as a way to imply you. Because, of course, you wouldn't use the honorific prefix for yourself. Then we have genki, literally original spirit, mind, heart, and so on, as usual, ki, the ki seen in Japanese martial arts, chi in Chinese, because of the further evolution of the language. Original spirit in the sense of full of spirit, lively, energetic, vigorous, vital, spirited, and because of that vital, full of, by extension it becomes healthy, well, fit, in good health. Then, of course, we have the copula, the polite one, des, and then again our sentence final particle, interrogative one, ca, and the interrogative mark, the question mark. So literal, are you well? How are you in English? Then we have this other sentence. Shiroi buroku wa teki o kechirasu mahou no chikara ga aru sou yo. First and foremost, we have shiroi, an adjective which means white. Should be accented, but we'll check quickly. Yes, it's accented. As a reminder, we have also seen before aoi, blue. I think we have seen it. Akai, well, we have seen it in The Legend of Zelda, now I remember, because of all those blue items. Akai is the only unaccented ones of these adjectives of colors. Shiroi, white, accented. And also we would have kuroi, black, also accented. Pretty sure, but we'll check. So yes, Sakai is the only exception among these ones. Yes, kuroi is accented. Then, of course, we have buroku, from English block. We'll check its accent. But yes, as expected on the ro. So, like block in English, buroku. Then we have the topic particle wa. As for white blocks, then we have, teki, an accent. We've even studied its kanji. It means enemy. Technically also opponent, rival. But of course, in the case of such games, enemies also could be. Because there's no distinction between, unless you mark it on purpose. Usually words can either be in the singular or the plural, as is. So I'd say enemies in this case in general. Then the opposite particle o. Then we have the verb kechirasu, which should be, but it's technically, yet again, a compound verb from keru. I'll check its accent, which means to kick. Yes, accented, okay. To kick. Now, in modern Japanese, in contemporary Japanese, it's a u verb, kodan verb. So, technically, to make the continuative form, we would make it change the u into i. So, make keri. And we actually can do so to make the corresponding noun, which means kick. And luckily, as I checked, the accent is accented on the last syllable as per the rule. But here we can see that we have just ke. That's because originally it was actually a ru verb, ichidan verb. And it has been kept in this compound. Then we have chirasu. We check its accent. Okay, chirasu unaccented, which means to scatter, to cause a shower off, by extension, of course, to disperse, to distribute, to spread. Other extended meanings which we don't need, but the fundamental meaning is to scatter. There's also, this is the transitive form of the verb. The intransitive one is chiru, which means, again, to scatter, but intransitive, so without an object. And also, by the way, by extension, is the verb used for to fall of blossoms, leaves. Quite useful to know because you'll definitely encounter it. But yes, the fundamental meaning is to scatter. Wanted to mention it because, again, chiru, the intransitive, chirasu, the transitive, yet again, chirasu is actually a classical form of the causative form of the verb chiru. And of course, then causative, and so it became the transitive form. But yes, we have to kick and scatter. So, kechirasu, luckily unaccented, just like chirasu, means to kick about, to kick around. So, the fundamental meaning of keru, then further specified by chirasu, or its other meaning is the other way around, to scatter, a crowd, the enemy, and so on, to rout. And so, of course, to scatter, so focused on the meaning of chirasu, further specified by keru. And so in our case is to scatter the enemies, to rout. Then we actually have a noun. And so what we have seen up to now is actually a relative clause up to the verb, and all that modifies and is related to the following noun, which is, in our case, maho, even though we see that there's another noun, which is the actual one, but maho, we have seen it the last time, means magic. Didn't mention it last time, but it's a I mentioned that it's a Chinese compound, but its kanji are the first one for demon, evil spirit, by extension then witch. And then we have ho, which means law, act, principle, method, other extended meanings, but let's focus on these ones. Fundamental meaning is law, and so also method. And so yes, we get maho, witch, craft, magic, sorcery, spell. Then we add the particle no, the possessive particle, and so technically of magic. But we could again use it as if it were kind of an adjective, magical. Then we have the following noun modified by this maho, and so also by the relative clause before it. Noun which is chikara. We've seen it in the previous series for sure. It means the fundamental meaning is strength, force, might, vigor, energy. Also capability, ability, proficiency, capacity. other extended meanings, but the fundamental one is strength. Chikara accent on the last syllable should be yes. So a magical strength that, and then we have the that scatters enemies. Then we have the subject particle ga. Then we have the verb aru. Aru again is the verb which means to be, as in to exist, to be present. There is also translation for inanimate objects. As a reminder, again, we have iru for animate ones. Also oru we have seen, but oru is simply the the humble form. The meaning is the same and the usage is the same between iru and oru, apart from, of course, the honorific level. Animate objects, and so people and animals. For everything else, aru, just like in this case, the strength, the magical strength. Last, then we have so, which in this case it's an auxiliary. It's used in this case. Well, we have seen it. We have seen before another so used with verbs, but be careful because this is a different one. The one we have seen before is used with the mass stem, the continuative form of a verb, which means appearing, seeming, that, looking like, and so having the appearance of. This one, used with the dictionary form, the final form of the verb, is used to report hearsay. It seems that, but in the sense that somebody else said it, not that it looks like because we see it. So be careful. This is something that you might mistake at first, but you have to simply pay attention. Of course, remember it and pay attention to the form of the verb. And last but not least, we have the final sentence particle yo, which means hey, or even better, I'd say in this case, you know. And yes, I'd say I use the translation you know here. And so we can translate it. As for white blocks, it seems that, it is said that literally, as for the white blocks, there is a magical strength that scatters enemies. As a reminder, again, we have this wa-ga structure with the verb aru. And so, while literally it is as for someone or something in this case, something is there, something marked by ga, it then becomes also in translation and the meaning as for that someone, something, it has what is marked by the GA. And so, as for white blocks, it is said that they have a magical strength that scatters enemies. You know. Okay, we can check the final sentence. Well, we have two, actually. Funny, actually, we have already seen them before, so we'll quickly go through them, not step by step, but quickly. Takaramo no o hitotsu okurimasu. Takaramo no, takara, treasure. Mono, we have even studied this kanji, thing as in object, contrasting with koto, thing as in matter. So, literally treasured thing. The object particle, hitotsu, number plus generic purpose counter, so 1, in its typical spot before the verb. And then the verb okurimasu could be to send, but in this case it's the one which usually would use a different kanji, which means to give as a gift, of course, by extension from to send most likely. So I'm giving you, implied you, as a gift, one treasured item, and then we have nanika no oyaku ni tatete kudasai. Nanika, nani, what, ka, makes the some plus the interrogative word, in this case something. Then the possessive particle, o the honorific prefix, yaku, we have seen it, well, it has several meanings, but in this one is function. Usually it's also role, position of responsibility, part, also part, role as in a part in a play, and so on. Then the particle ni, tu, and then tatete, from tateru, literally to put up, to erect, to raise. But yeah, it's a way to say put into use, some use. And then, of course, we have the te kudasai, and so the polite imperative, literally do the favor of putting it into use. And last but not least, pichi, the sign. And so we can see actually the item in itself is a cloud. Well, we'll go back to the game. We can see it flashing in game. And so yes, that's the item that she's giving us. Lucky 2 cloud, or cloud in general, honestly. If I recall correctly, it can be used to pass and ignore an enemy on the map, but we'll see in case we use it. And with that, we've actually not just finished, but completed World 2. as we've played all the levels. And we get warudo ni perfecto, perfect. Sorry, as a reminder, the accent we have seen that perfecto on the fe, perfecto. Because of course, in English there's perfect, perfect. Japanese doesn't change the accent depending on its usage, and so they got the one with the accent on fe, perfecto. And then, of course, we can save. We'll do so. And with that, we are in World 3, which funny enough is perfect for our frog suit. As you can see, it's a water world. The very first level is in the middle of the water. But of course, we'll play it next time. We'll quickly again just close the game like this, just to, oops, wanted to actually save that, just to be completely sure that the game should have been saved. Yeah, as we can see, Warudo-san, the 3 here most certainly is better as san, because it's the Chinese reading and it's the one used usually when the number is on its own. And then we have 17, because we have played 17 levels in total. We were at 8 when we started, I'm pretty sure, so we played 9. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are 9 levels in World 2. So I actually started again a second, just to also save it here, just to be completely sure. Funny enough, the same hour. Yeah, now we can close it. We close it here. And so yeah, today we've started and also finished, actually completed World 2. And so next time we'll start World 3. Most likely also finish hopefully complete that one as well in just one episode, but we'll see, because of course the further we get into the game, that could might not happen again. But yes, next time should be on Wednesday, unless things change. Usual hour. And okay, see you next time.